Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and I am delighted to welcome you here today to the Breaking Free Show. It's Monday, it's almost May, and it's beautiful outside. So, beautiful inside and beautiful outside. So, thank you for joining us. I know your time is precious, and we want to deliver. And today, before we get on with the show, I want to just say hi to Amnan.
Hello, Marilyn. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I am just fine, thank you.
Good. So Amnan's going to give us a little techie moment, but before he does, I just want to remind everybody that you are more than welcome to call into the show anytime you want. I don't care what we're talking about. If you have a burning desire to share something, ask something, question something, you do it. 919-518-9773, or you can come in on Skype at computers number 2K voice. So that's computers, that's plural, the number 2K voice, and you can come in our chat. We have a live chat. You can ask questions in there, do anything you want, ask questions, comment, whatever. Give me a quote. I love them. And we get on with the show. So
Um,
what can you share with us about
well, I
some
mean, the
techie
only
stuff?
thing that actually would affect people is that Sprint and T-Mobile decided to merge.
And so what does that mean to the
So
rest?
that means one less competitor out there. It's bad. Anytime you lower the numbers of competitors,
Right.
it's bad for us because there's
So
lessons.
why would they do that?
Oh, because one of them wants to grow. I think it's T-Mobile swallowing Sprint.
Sprint.
T-Mobile is growing like crazy.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't even get away from it.
From what?
From T-Mobile. I mean, you go into, I think, was it Borders, Barnes and Noble? Sometimes, I mean, it used to be T-Mobile. I don't know what it
I
is
mean,
now.
the CEO there. I mean, he is relentless.
In what?
In business,
In gobbling up things, or
well, I mean, I think that's the first time to gobbling up anything. But he built a company from nothing almost, and I think it's now the second, well, no, the third.
Mm.
You got to give him
What's
credit.
what does he do? He goes it like a lot of places you go, you have to. It's T-Mobile. It's T-Mobile. It's T-Mobile. And if you want to use like
What do you mean?
Wi-Fi or something, isn't that like T-Mobile?
I don't have T-Mobile, so I
Okay,
don't
I
know. What
don't
do you
have it
mean
either.
by
Like
it's
if you are in
T-Mobile?
the airport or you're in
Yeah,
a store, I mean, you have to have like you can get on with T-Mobile if you have T-Mobile. Is that right,
you
or am I
can.
thinking of something else?
No, I don't know what.
Okay,
No, you can get with
so it's just
anything.
okay. So it's something else,
The Wi-Fi and stuff like that.
right?
As long as you have your phone, you get to it. But you advertise a lot, so you see it. You see it
Yeah, it's all
works.
over the
It
place,
works.
right?
So they keep
Interesting.
talking about it. Yeah, so we'll see what would happen.
Was that a shock to you?
It wasn't a shock. I mean, you just think, Sprint. Dang, I mean, I remember the days when Sprint was
Sprint.
the
Yeah,
thing,
Sprint. Exactly.
Sprint.
Yes, Sprint.
Now to think that
There won't be.
it's just amazing.
It's amazing. So, is there anything else? Anything else that you can share? Because you
Um,
always share some juicy stuff.
yeah, it was a slow tech news
Is it been
week
slow?
last week. Yeah, it wasn't anything. Um,
Amnan's got a
yeah,
great show
yeah.
on Sunday mornings at
9 till 11.
9 to 11 here. And so they always are talking about technology, software, things that are happening in the tech world. So I like to sometimes have him, I like to pick his brain and have him open up the
Yeah.
show because, you know, he knows what's going on. So I like to hear from him. So anything else can you think of? Is that it?
I'm trying to remember
What you talked about?
Prime
Yeah, what about?
is
Oh, yeah.
going up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
It's ridiculous.
It's going up like 20, is it $20 it's going up or
Yep,
something?
to
It-
120.
So I saw some silly thing that if in order to protect the fact that you're paying $99, there's something you can do
No, the only thing you can do is you can still renew up till June 16th, I think, or May 16th
for another year.
for another year. But that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, okay.
Now
What's the but?
mine expires in December.
So you
So can I
lose.
go? So you lose. So it's going to be
Uh,
from.
so they get it anyway
So
then,
yeah,
or more.
yeah. So you can get another 6 months.
Uh-huh.
And the truth is that these days Prime is not such a
It's not
deal
such a
anymore.
deal.
If you think about it, how much did you buy from Amazon?
Well,
No,
I mean,
do you
$99 is not that much
no,
for movies, for getting free
do,
delivery on
do
things.
you well free delivery is anyway.
But that's with Prime.
No, no, free delivery. Anything over $35 is free.
So it's not because of Prime.
It's not because of Prime.
See how much I know?
So if you look at now, if you're using uh, Amazon Music and Amazon Videos and use it a lot,
Mm,
then yes, it's worth it,
mhm.
probably. But just for the free delivery, the two
Right.
day
Well,
and all
that's,
that,
yeah.
it's not, because even if you had to pay,
Hmm.
most people, if you look into it and say, okay, how much did I buy? So I bought 30 once a
Well, a
month.
lot of people use it a
So
lot.
no,
Yeah.
you see, again, it depends what's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But,
if you have to pay $4 for each thing that you order,
right.
and you are ordering 10,
It's,
that's $40. And
mhm.
all year I would have spent $40 to get. Well,
Well, I think a lot of people use it more.
there
Yeah.
are a lot of people that
And
choose
it
more.
still
It's
seems to be a
still a
good,
good
it's
thing
still a good
for
deal,
a lot of
but
people.
it is going up
It is going up by
by
20 bucks.
20
Not,
bucks.
that's not
Now, that
trivial.
is not, no, no, no.
No,
That's a good chunk.
right.
That's a good chunk. It's a couple of dollars a month,
Yeah.
or $1.50 a month, whatever. All right. Well, good. Well, if you think of anything else, will you let us know? I'm right here. Just knock on the air.
No.
Just go knock. He's right here. Go knock, knock. I got something else. All right. So today, uh, there's this just hit me this morning, and I think this is, a lot of people feel this way. Or, things come up. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about resilience. And, we've had lots of guests on throughout our lifetime here and so forth. And, every now and then we just come on and we just talk. And I pick a subject, which today isn't a particular subject. It's just things happen in our lives. And I know we talked about resilience a couple of weeks ago, but this is something that's hitting home also, because one thing you can guarantee in your life is change, and things are always happening. Some of them are good, we can't deny it, and some of them are not so good, we can't deny it either. We can't live under a rock and say, oh no, it's not bad, things are happening. So I want to talk about bad news and bad things, and I don't want to talk about it in a bad way, but I do want to acknowledge it and not put my head under a rock or under the covers and say it doesn't exist, because it does. And we got to talk about this stuff. So bad news does not have to get us down. It can actually get us going. And that's what I want to focus in on today, is that there is, you know, every day, what you can guarantee is something every other day, something is bound to happen that is going to knock you for a loop, whether it's a friend that might be ill, which I have now. Maybe it's something in business that doesn't work out. Maybe there's some disappointment somewhere. Something happens in your family. Things are difficult. Things can be difficult, but they don't have to get you down, because what's the point anyway? So, the next slide. This is the purpose of what we're going to talk about today. We can use such moments to expand our experience of our most precious treasures. Oops.
Right.
Whoops. Whoops, oops, oops. Hold on, everybody. I'm going to read it to you one more time. There you go. We can use such moments to expand our experience of our most precious treasures. It does help us figure out how strong we are, what our gifts are, and who we're surrounded by. Because, we can, when we look and things are not always going good, they go caca, you can really see what you're made of. And I think that's really important. And they're not thing and that's maybe part of the reason things don't go well, is so that we can see what we're made of. And it's not easy. So let's go on with the next one. People that we love These are the things that we can take a look at and notice these are treasures, okay? People that we love, our imagination. Why our imagination? Oh my God. To think outside the box of bad news, you got to have imagination. You got to say, okay, this is now, but outside when I go outside the box and I can think and access my imagination, I can create a new scenario, a possibility. I can create what I like to call healthy excuses for things, not denying them, but look, you make a choice sometimes on how you're going to look at something. You can look at it this way or you can look at it that way. And healthy excuses help us recognize another alternative, another outcome. And sometimes it does take an imagination to think about it. It takes imagination, creativity to not stay landed in the bad news, but to come up with a, another possibility. So, imagination. Sometimes it takes a walk in the park, a walk in the sunlight, a walk somewhere to distract yourself for that moment to come. I'll tell you, I love what we're talking about or what I'm bringing here because I feel this all the time too. Not all the time, but I feel this a lot, when facing things. And it's important to come together and share tools or strategies for how we're going to or how we can lift ourselves up because it's easy some days to get bogged down with bad news, whatever that news might be. Some things are easier to lift yourself up with than other things. However, pick the tool that you can pick that makes something in that moment happen other than the bad news and shows you your strength, your power, your fortitude, your conviction, your creativity. Pick it. So the next one is memories. Memories are really important. The memories of someone, the memories when something wasn't the way it was, the memory of how you did something that was really good to help you get through some of the things that you might go oops on. Memories. You know, when I was in sales, I can often remember how many times I might have been dealing with something in sales that wasn't easy. It was complicated. And I would remember the times that I made a really good sale. I would remember how I, did something that was really good and made something really terrific happen. And that would help me during moments of bad sales or something falling through the cracks that I blame myself for. I remember how good I was. And that would keep me going. So keep that in mind. But imagination, I want to just repeat that again, is really, 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 really important when things are going bad. You can imagine you're sitting on a beach somewhere. You can imagine, the possibility is of money coming in when you've lost something. It really because there's that other side to the coin, and it really does help. And these are some of our treasures, and the people in our lives. I want to go back to that. With bad news, it's really important to surround yourself with people in your life that you love, whether it's your children, your nieces, nephews, a brother, a sister, a mother, an uncle, your best friend. Surround yourself with people who love you and who you love and ask for help. And be honest and talk about things. That if we don't talk about these things, then they hurt more. We give them too much energy, they become too strong and too mighty. But when we surround ourselves with people that we love and we do the imagination thing, the healthy excuses thing, walk in the park, we remember, we go back into our memories, we don't give them the power. We don't make them stand out. They become less than. Now, some things are really hard to get over. Bad news of a death, it's really hard to get over. I can't, there are some deaths that I've faced in my life that I, in the moment, didn't even think I could get out of bed. And I know that there will be, unfortunately, those in my future where, You know, I'm not looking forward to it, obviously. However, those moments pass, and the people in our lives help us through those terrible, terrible, terrible times. And so some people may not have a network of loved ones that they can rely on. We need to open up our heart. We need to connect and find those connections, because people in general, everybody wants, for the most part, I shouldn't say everybody, but for the most part, people really want to be loved, hugged, and rubbed. And people want to give back, and they want to give. Not everybody, but many people. Do your best to find those, you know, diamonds in the rough, those friends, those acquaintances that are there, that would be more than happy to reach back out at you, to love you, to care about you, to be there in a time of need, because we do have those times and we can't deny the fact that they're going to come. We just have to prepare ourselves in good ways, not living as if the bad news is always around us, but to know that stuff can show up, and we just got to be prepared. Our strength is so important, and our resilience, and how we bounce back. And my friend, our treasures are so important, because the stronger we are, the more we are there for other people as well. So taking care of ourselves and being there for each other is really important. And when bad news happens, we do see how strong we are. We do see how creative we are. We do see what we can make from something. It's a call to action. It's a call to say, okay, this path may not be working right. Let me choose a different path. Let me try something new. Or maybe you're just completely whacked up and you're completely thrown off of everything and you have no idea where you're going. And you're like, oh my gosh, what has just gone on? Just know this too shall pass. It does. So, the next slide. Sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the best things that will ever happen to us. Oh, sometimes it's hard to see those, isn't it? The new path. And sometimes it's even hard to see the good things on that new path, but they're there. And sometimes we don't even know what that new thing is, that best thing that has ever happened to us, until God down the road, a long time down the road. But they're there. Have you ever turned around to yourself and went and said something like, if I only knew that I would have this and not that, or meet this person and not that person, if I only knew. I mean, take a look. It's I often say to people, freedom comes from no freedom. Where How will you know what freedom is unless you didn't have freedom? Well, it's the same thing with this, really. And you have to, and it brings up appreciation. But when you are on that new path, or something terrible has happened and a new door, a new opportunity, a new friend, a new connection, a new softness in your heart comes, and it's a wow. That's all I can say. Anyway, call me at 919-518-9773, or computers, that's plural, the number 2K voice on Skype, and in our chat. Please join us there. Anytime you can ask questions. Love to have you partake and just talk to me. This is our show. So the next one, someday everything will make perfect sense. That's what I just said, right? So for now, laugh at the confusion, smile through the tears, and keep reminding yourself that everything happens for a reason. So, what is that everything happens for a reason thing? Sometimes I'm even tired of hearing it. Can it really happen for a reason when somebody dies, when somebody is critically ill? Is that really happening for a reason? I don't know. I don't know if the intent is to say that it's happening for a reason, but I think you want to give it some kind of reason, something that you can get from it, some kind of learning that you can acquire from it, some kind of strength, sometime something that you can look at this and go, okay, I showed up. I did this, I did that. I didn't fall apart. Give it a reason. It's hard to look at somebody you love who's suffering. I have that now. I have a dear friend who is suffering, and she's, you know, doing terribly. And I can't really look at her and say that this is for a reason, other than to say, I'm showing up for her. And that's a good thing that I show up for her and I'm not hysterical crying on the phone when I'm talking to her, or that I am listening to her tell me all the terrible things and I have made myself available for that. And then I get off the phone and I'm like, oh, dear God, please. I can't say that all of that for her is for a reason. But um, I'm giving myself a reason. I'm telling myself that that I am doing these things and that they're good things and that I have listened for my place to help. And that's a good thing. So if I can listen for my place, then I can listen for my place again in something else. If I can show up strong here, then I can show up strong somewhere else. If this is so bad, which it is, and I can be so strong, which I am, and if I can hold back the tears, which I do, then I can do that again when necessary. And I can say, because of this, I did that. It's not, I'm not saying that that this is a good thing that my friend is so sick. I'm saying that because of this, I can see something in myself. And that's the point. Remember that. Okay. Next slide. Next slide, Clyde. All right. I believe that bad things happen in life to teach us how to look at good things in a whole new light. All right. Case in point. That's what I just said, sort of. And you know what? When I put these together, I don't memorize what's coming up next. Are you kidding? That's not what I do. I've said that before. But they do come up at the perfect timing. So I believe that bad things happen in life to teach us how to look at good things in a whole new light. Well, that's my choice. That's your choice. We get to choose how we're going to do it. Well, we're going to make of something. My friend being so sick, I can make a whole lot of stuff out about that, let me tell you, because she's smart, she's religious, she's brilliant, she's good, she's all these things. And I can make up all kinds of terrible things on the world coming to an end and how can this happen to such a good person? I can. However, that's not how I choose to do it. How I choose to do it is to honor her and at the same time honor myself to see that I am being a good friend. And that's the point. And that's what I would like to, you know, talk to you about is look at these situations. What is it teaching you about yourself? What is it showing you in the treasures that you hold in your heart that you might never have noticed before because they weren't called to action? I have to say, some of the things that I do now with this friend of mine, or things that I see myself doing or thinking, I wouldn't know that before until this happened. Now I'm seeing those in myself. And I'm like, wow, that was a really good thing I did, or that was a really good way I handled that, or, that was really good thinking on my part. I wouldn't have known that before. And I would not tell you that I'm happy to be learning this at this particular with this particular experience. I would much rather learn it somewhere else and in another way, and nothing that is so tragic. Nothing. I would much rather have my friend healthy and have me learn my powerful lessons without this. However, I can't control life. I can't control death. I can't control anything like that. But what I can do is I can pick myself up and notice my strength. Because the stronger I get, the stronger I am from my friend. That is what I can do. And that is what you can do. So, next slide. Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have something to say?
I was going to say,
What's that?
even if it's not a friend,
Right.
it helps us because that's the key to count your blessing. You may look at you may hear about people in Africa that can eat,
Right.
and if that wasn't that, you wouldn't. You know, we take things for granted, so you need a
Absolutely.
contrast.
Nom absolutely. Absolutely. Because we're hearing bad news all the time.
Right.
And it's not like we wish bad news on people, like happy that Africa may not have food or things like that. It's not the point. It's that you're right. It's count your blessings.
Mhm.
Count your blessings and go do something good. Go help somebody, when you can. But yeah, definitely count your blessings. And everybody has it. Find it. I don't If you're sitting on the sofa somewhere and life is like coming to an end, count your blessings. My friend still lights, she's an Orthodox Jewish woman. And last Friday night, which is the Sabbath, and it's a religious, it's religious. I called her. She is not well, and she was lighting Sabbath candles and praying to God. Now, if that's not something, I don't know what is. So count your blessings. Everybody's got something. Whatever it is, grateful, gratitude, thank something. That your car went, that you have food in your refrigerator, that you have a sofa to crash out on, that your sofa has a room to sit in. Just look outside your window. You're alive, count your blessings. That's all. And that will certainly help you with bad news. Okay, next one. There we go. We don't grow when things are easy. We grow when we face challenges. When they're easy, what do you push to do? Enjoy yourself, have fun, smile. Those are all great things. And I believe we learned them, during those opportunities as well. When you look at it and you say, "Ah, that was a great day. What did I do to have such a great day? What did I do to have such a great time?" Reflect on those. That is fabulous. And I think, that's what we got to do. But at the same time, we learn a lot from our challenges and how we show up. Um, Here's a question on the chat. Which is more, and this is from Chris, which is more influential for you, Marilyn, your faith or your devout optimism? And are they one and the same? God, I wish I had that question before so I could have practiced the answer. Let me read it again, okay? Which is more influential for you, Marilyn, your faith or your devout optimism? Uh, well, I think for me, I think faith, I have a level of faith. I have a base of faith. And from my faith comes my optimism. Because I think faith is something that isn't transient. It just is. It just is. Optimism uh, is something that maybe can be here today, gone in a minute, but my faith is there. So when I check back with my faith, then I get stronger and I know that I'm there. But my faith is my underlying thing. It's like my it's my being. I just have faith. And then my optimism comes from that. I hope that answers your question. Chris, you tell me, what do you think? What influences you, faith or optimism? And that's a very good question. So if anybody else out there has an opinion or something to add, please call in or write on the chat. Let's see. Faith, let me read it to you again. Which is more influential for you, faith or optimism. And maybe you don't have a maybe one is not more influential than another. That's possible, right?
Both
Both
together.
of them together.
Hand in
So
hand.
hand in hand. So please give us a call. Let me know what you think. All right, here's the next one. Every single thing that has ever happened in your life is preparing you for a moment that is yet to come. That gives me the shivers. That gives me the shivers. Because, but I do have to agree in a lot of ways that what I deal with this friend or in my life right now, because I'm dealing pretty well. If it wasn't for the moments in time from the past, I would not be where I am today because I think I'm dealing really, really well with things, upsets, and things that I don't expect to happen, where I don't have a particular answer. I don't even know where the thing is coming from. I'm able to deal much better. In fact, I would say that for myself, because of noticing the moments in the past and things that have prepared me for now, um, I am avoiding misunderstandings. I'm avoiding conflicts. I mean, I cannot avoid the pain of a friend who's not doing well. That's hard to avoid when you have loved ones in your life. Misunderstandings, conflict, anger, disruptions like that. Your food browning in the oven too much, or things like that that could really get you off your beam. Those things I'm really good at because of my history. It's gotten me enough. I'm okay. I can handle those things. A friend, that's a whole nother story when when it's kind of like something that's kind of drags out in you, right? But I do think that I'm wiser than I was before, and that I'm able to, even if I was able to handle it in the past, which I have handled things bad before. I'm clearer now in my handling. So as I look at myself, I can see a shift, I can see a change. And that's what you want to do. You want to look at how are you handling things? Do you notice any little thing that you're doing better than you did them before? Are you more patient? Do you laugh more? Are you less tired than you used to be? Notice anything. Do things just roll off your back more? Do you beep your horn less than you used to? Do you curse less than you used to? Look at all of those things. How do you recover when somebody says something that, kind of cuts you like a knife? Are you recovering easier? Those things all make a difference. Chris is saying, I think that optimism can be your faith. Well, I guess I could say that I have faith in optimism. I mean, it's like trust. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it is, you know, interwoven like that. It's kind of like, what's the other analogy? I'm going to come up with something, but there are certain words that interchangeable, that one is just like the other. And I guess that's true. If anybody else has any other comments, please, I'd love to hear, what you think. Okay, next. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Those are good words, though, aren't they? All right, so let's repeat them again. So everybody, close your eyes a minute and let me read to you. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Now that's peace, right? That's peace. And so there are things that happen that you just got to roll with, and then and just got to roll with them and accept them. And then to know the courage to know when to change them, that when you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is huge, so that you are not driving yourself crazy all the time, trying to control everything, trying to change everything, trying to make sure this one doesn't do this and that one doesn't do this and this one doesn't say this and this happens here and that. You can't. You cannot. You got to get in touch with the wisdom that knows the difference between the things that you can change and the things that you can't. And usually, I would say, now everything is not, oh, I won't say anything is etched in stone, because it's not. It's like the difference between faith and optimism. I mean, it's, in the scheme of things, it's splitting a hair to try to figure out the difference. But in the scheme of things, control doesn't feel so good. You're always working at it. You're always pushing. You're always conniving. You're always doing something. It does not feel good. Now, the things that you can change, you're going to get little notices, little notes, little messages along the way that you're etching at it. It's like you're creating, you're carving something, and you're getting something from the little movements that you do, rewards to know that you're headed in the right direction. If things happen and you keep knocking your head up against the wall and things don't change, then you might want to try something different, because it's not changing. So you have to try something different. But honestly, control doesn't feel good, but the other feels really good. Really, really, really good. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Together, we can face any challenges as deep as the ocean and as high as the sky. I do believe that. I truly believe that together we can move a mountain. Whether you're sitting out there in silence and listening to this show, maybe just a little bit of something you've heard, something that you feel in your heart of hearts that is making a difference. We've done good together. We've done good. And you know what? Here's the other thing. You might see me alone sitting in front of this video camera and in front of this microphone with these PowerPoints. And I'm not sitting here, thank the Lord. And Chris is on the chat, and and all of you are out there. I don't sit here alone. I sit here because you have given me permission. You've helped me with my confidence. You have been here, listened, watched, you've commented, you have shared in this show. And because of that, I get to sit here. Now, I don't know who you are, some of you. I haven't even never met you. I've never hear from you. We've never chatted, we never spoke. I don't know your name, you know mine, but I don't know yours. And yet, by osmosis, we're connected. And you have helped me tremendously come here each and every Monday to show up. And it's interesting because I've said this before. Sometimes I will go somewhere and somebody will say, I follow you. I follow what you're doing on Facebook. And I'm like, you do? Because I'm like, are you serious? I don't, sometimes I put something out there. I'm not sure anybody's really taking it in, but people do, right? So you are special, and you're giving me tons to sit here and to make sure that I show up with something important and that will make a difference in, you know, in your life. And I'm going to come away today, and even though you haven't spoken to me, I'm going to come away stronger just because I'm doing this and because I know that somewhere out there somebody is listening. And I would love to hear from you. So if you would call me at 919-518-9773 and or computers 2K voice, please do on Skype and in our chat. You're more than welcome to come in there and share with us there as well. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You can always do that. And you can always reach out to me personally at Marilyn@MarilynShannon.com and tell me anything. And I would love to know because this is really important that we do share and that we do talk and we talk about things that are not comfortable. For me, I don't like bad news. I'm not a lover of bad news. I'm not a lover of bad things. I want to think of everything. I want to think positively of everything, right? I want to think that there's a good reason for things. I want to think that there's a good way out of things. I want to think that I'm going to do this good and I'm going to do that good and that there is a silver lining. I do think that way because I want to make the most of the bad things. I want to make the most of something that isn't good, the good feeling, so that I take something good from it instead of just letting it be bad. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense that I can feel the pain of something negative or something that's hurtful, but I want to learn something from it. I don't want it to go down in history as just something bad. I want to say, okay, let me get something, one little something out of it to make it so that, it just makes something better come from it. That's all. I mean, and I think that's, something that we have, like I said earlier, we have a choice to do. So I want to also say, a lot of times we're hearing a lot of bad news on the radio, on the TV, and it comes fast and furious. And again, you can have your world fall apart and think the world is coming to an end, or you can keep on doing what you're doing if you think that what you're doing is good and make a difference in the world. Take some action that is going to do something that is going to help somebody, support somebody, and make a difference. And change the, you know, use your good energy to make something good happen no matter what you're facing in the world, no matter what. So I just want to say on May 19th, if you are living anywhere near Raleigh, North Carolina, and you might fly in for this, I don't know, I'm doing a special event with a dear friend. It's talking, it's all about listening. So it's about the listener's quest, a discovery into the unknown. Because when you listen, it is a discovery in the unknown. Because how do you know it? I mean, you're listening. You don't pre know something until you listen. I mean, it's not possible to pre know. I mean, yes, we are intuitive. I get you. I grant you that. But we're listening. If you're a blank page, you're not listening. So you're listening, and then the listening, something teaches you something, and then you listen for the next level, and 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 I don't know where it takes you. I have no idea. So there is an unknown. We don't know where we're headed. You might know a little bit about tomorrow, but you're not going to know about next week and the week after, the next year, and blah, 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 and down the road. So there is an unknown. So we're doing this fabulous, fabulous, beautiful Saturday in Raleigh, North Carolina. If you'd like to know some information about it, please reach out to me at Marilyn@MarilynShannon.com, and I will tell you. We're going to do a talking stick, which if you've never done anything with a talking stick, they're really cool. It's a Native American culture. You stick things, beautiful things on them that have meaning. So everybody comes with something that has meaning to them, and they put it on a stick, like a part of a tree, and you pass it to the circle of people that are there. And when you have the stick, you talk. And when you don't, you're listening. And when you're talking and you're holding this beautiful stick in your hand with all the things that people have put on it, you're holding memories, you're holding love, you're holding challenges, opportunities, thoughts, desires of other people, their energy, and you're holding it dear and near to your heart. And you're speaking, you can't help but speak with love in your voice when you're holding things in your hand that somebody has put there with their heart and soul. And so we'll do the talking stick. You'll put things on, people will talk, we'll pass the stick, people will listen, and it's a process and it's beautiful. And then we're going to do a sound bath. And I have not done one yet, so I will be listening, but they're really beautiful. I have been on a sound bed, but I haven't done a sound bath. And a sound bath is when a group of people come together and certain people play certain music using vibration, by the strings and vibration. And it's really, really cool. So I would invite you to come. Please join us for May 19th. Write to me at marilyn@marilynshannon.com, and I will be happy to give you all the other information that is necessary. But it's going to be beautiful, and bring your mate, your friends, your loved ones. It's going to be great. The next thing is I have a book on Amazon I'd like to share. It's called In Just One Afternoon, Listening into the Hearts of Men. And it is a beautiful anthology of stories that were told to me by 22 men, including my husband. All sorts of stories of emotional growth, uh, creativity, passion, family, work, all kinds of things. It's a great book. It's out on Amazon, and it's soon to be followed by my next one, which is In Just One Afternoon, Listening into the Hearts of Twins. And that is something I am winding up with currently, and it will be out. This is probably, I'm saying, sometime the beginning of June, because it has to go to the editor. But it's really some great stories, and they've touched my heart, the twins. And that's another thing I will tell you, listening at these stories, any chance you can to listen into someone, take that opportunity. When we talked earlier about um, surrounding yourself with people that love you or even like you, or maybe people who don't even like you or love you, but and don't really even know you, but you see a glimmer in them. Surround yourself with glimmer. I'll tell you what, when I listen into people's stories, it is amazing, amazing what you hear and the humanity that you hear within people, and where and how you find your connection with them. When I listen to these twins tell me about their twin, first of all, some of them made me cry. A lot of them made me cry. Some of them made me laugh. Some of them just left me dumbfounded because I was so taken back by the connection and how connected these twins are. And even the ones that don't feel connected to their twin, they can tell me all day long that they are not connected and that they don't even see each other that much. But as I read their stories, I see a different connection. I see a deep connection. I see a yearning. I saw love. And it was amazing to see how twins can really get along. And I am certainly curious. And part of the purpose of writing this book, or discovering these stories, was to share them with the world to say, okay, well, if they could look the other way and come back together, if they can handle conflict this way and come back together again, people, we all can do that. A lot of us can do that. It's not the end of the world to disagree with somebody and not agree and still not blow up at each other. And because all that is about you trying to express yourself and thinking you're got to be heard. Who's the most important person for you to be heard by? Yourself. Who cares what anybody else thinks? It's you. You got to be heard. You got to listen to yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It's important that you hear you. So, the twins have taught me a great deal. And when I went in to start writing this book, I was like, okay, are they soulmates? Are they karma? What are they? I mean, are they all soulmates, or are twins just part of the same soul? That's what I really thought. I thought all these twins were part of the same soul. But as I've read them, and I have to tell you, I am not a scientist. Hello. I am not a scientist. I am what I call a humanist. I am just interested in humans. I like dogs too, by the way. But I am really just interested in humans. I'm fascinated by human connection, and I like humans. We're interesting. We're interesting. So I just like knowing about people and helping people understand each other. That is my whole thing. And so when I got into these stories, and I really thought that the twins were soulmates, but I realize now that maybe they're not all soulmates. I mean, some have lived together their entire lives, and others don't even see each other, but they're working things out together. They are working out their path, just as we've spoken about today. Some things will knock you off your path. Some of these relationships have done that to each other. Some have challenged each other to the max. When you see yourself in the mirror and you have no mirror, and it's your twin, and you don't like them and they don't like you, and you're supposed to like each other, there it is a very interesting story. And they challenge each other to question who they are, to know what they're doing. They challenge each other. And there's a way to do that. There's a way to challenge each other. Just like what we do, what I like to think sometimes we do here. We challenge the way we think. We challenge the way we look at things. We challenge the way we process. Sometimes we've had guests on our show that maybe have been um, on the other side of the ballpark. Sometimes we've had guests on that we agree with. Sometimes we have guests on that we don't. However, it's a way for you to question and to see who you are and what you're really strong at. And that is a good thing. It's to help you define your opinion. And there is nothing wrong with that. If you take a look at something that I have done here on the show and you don't like it, great. If you see something I have done on this show that you like, great. Because we got to have an opinion, and that's okay. And I have an opinion, you have an opinion. Sometimes they're not going to match. But if you can see something that I have done that questions something, great, because that is really important. There would be no point in my sitting here week after week and not do something or have a guest on that doesn't challenge my opinion. What's the point? Why even turn it on or take your time if everything I did was something you already knew and felt? Sometimes I'll say, well, you could read the same book over and over and over again and still get different things out of it. One book you can read for your entire life and read that same book over and over and still get different things. So why turn something on that you're not going to learn something from? It would be ridiculous. So if I've offended anyone, I'm sorry. But if I've helped you think or process something differently, I am not sorry. I am delighted, and I appreciate the opportunity to do this. So if you have any ideas for shows, storylines, things that you don't even know about, but you want to, then you just let us know and we'll find the guests, we'll, do the story and bring it out here so that we can be educated, inspired, and have an understanding of something. Okay. Were you just saying something to me? Okay. So you have eye contact up here?
Yes.
Okay. Here's one other thing that I want to bring to your attention. And I don't do a lot of these things unless it's about myself or my guests. But eye contact is an email marketing company. And it is very important that if you are in business and you have contacts that you want to stay in touch with, iContact is a good email marketing company to be able to do that with, to be able to send out newsletters, birthday cards, Christmas cards, whatever it is to stay in front of your customers. So if you are interested and you are curious about what they do, how they do it, and how you can use it, you can contact iContact and give them breaking free as your code, and you will get special attention and you will get a special price. And just tell them Marilyn sent you because it's a good thing. And if you have a product or a service that you would like to have us market here, please feel free to let me know that as well. Because if it's something good that I can wrap myself around, that I can respect, and that is something worthwhile, I would be happy to share it. You can let me know at Marilyn@MarilynShannon.com if you would like to advertise your product, market, yourself, your service. Again, the same thing. We will only do that with something that we can give our personal aha to and give our personal experience with. So please feel free again to reach out. Be happy to take a look at it. And again, it has to be something that we like and something that feels good because we don't want to share anything with all of you out there that is not something that I would use myself. So I'd have to use it. So anyway, coming up this week, you got anything major going on, Mr. Ramnan?
No, just it's always something going on. But
See, that's the thing. What am I saying?
you see, again, there's no
Yes,
contrast.
exactly. I
If,
just put my foot and my mouth into it because really, how do you know?
I know.
Well, unless you know. Some things you know, some things you know, but some things you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So it's the things you don't know, be prepared for. The things you know, be prepared for, and be prepared for
As
any
long as you're prepared, you
for
can
anything
handle
to
anything.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
just and being prepared is what is knowing that your history has prepared you. Is knowing that you can look at bad things, good things, and you'll rise above it. You have people in your life. You are taking care of yourself and all of those things, and it will all be fine. So, with that, I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. And we will see you next week. Again, Marilyn@MarilynShannon.com. Bye, y'all.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.